May I come in, sir? Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Please.
Thank you, sir.
How are you, Adeel?
Sir, I'm great.
Please tell me about yourself.
Sir, my name is Syed Adeel Mohsin. I come from the Muzaffarpur district of Bihar, the land of lychee. And sir, I did my primary schooling and secondary schooling from there itself. Afterwards, sir, I came to Delhi, and sir, I did my 12th and my engineering in mechanical engineering from Jamia Millia Islamia, sir. And sir, thereafter, I have been preparing for civil services. And sir, my hobby includes playing chess and teaching. Yes, sir.
Okay. मुजफ्फरपुर से आप.
Yes, sir.
अगर एंशियंट हिस्ट्री की बात करें तो 16 महाजनपद थे. देयर वाज 16 महाजनपद. मगध ने ही क्यों राइज किया?
Sir, largely the rise of
डायमेंशन चाहिए.
Yes, sir. Sir, largely the rise of Magad can be understood in terms of sir, its location. For instance, sir, it was located around the Patna region, and sir, the rivers around that region provided a good buffer against enemies, sir. Also, sir, there were jungles around that area, so which provided elephants, for instance, sir. So which gave them edge over other enemies. Also, sir, there were iron mines through which they could make weapons against enemies. And sir, lastly, sir, there were matrimonial alliances made by the rulers of Magad, so which helped them to forge greater alliances with the people around the place, sir.
Some other reasons?
So this is what I can think of.
Good geographical?
So geographical, as I said, sir, the river, and apart from that,
बाउंड्रीज केवल रिवर से ही सिक्योर थी या कोई और रीजन था?
sir, also Himalaya was also an important factor.
This side?
Sir, in the north.
In the north?
Yes, sir.
हाय, क्या आप भी आईएएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं? क्या आप पीसीएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं? बहुत दिनों से आप स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इसके बावजूद भी आपको सफलता नहीं मिली। भागदौड़ करने के बावजूद भी आपको कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं मिल रहा है। सिर्फ आपका टेंशन बढ़ रहा है, आपका पेशेंस जवाब दे रहा है। इसी टेंशन को दूर करने और आपकी हर एक समस्या का समाधान लेकर आए हम, यानी ओजांक गुरुकुल कैंपस। यहाँ हम आपको सिखाएंगे आईएएस और पीसीएस जैसे एग्जाम की तैयारी कैसे आसान तरीके से की जाती है, कैसे डिसिप्लिन फॉलो किया जाता है, कैसे अनुशासन रखा जाता है। अगर आप भी चाहते हैं हम आईएएस और पीसीएस बने और अपनी जिंदगी के सारे सपने पूरे करें, तो अभी ज्वाइन करें ओजांक गुरुकुल कैंपस। बिकॉज when we support the word selfless, the whole universe will support you endlessly.
तो हिमालयन रीजन से हमें बहुत फायदे होते हैं.
Yes, sir. India greatly benefits from Himalayan region. So we get our major rivers from Himalaya in the North India, sir. Also, sir, the monsoon in monsoon, sir, Himalaya plays a very important role, sir. Sir, the fertile soil of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and adjoining areas are largely due to the alluvial soil that comes from the river.
नुकसान बताओ.
Sir, the issues are largely around. Say, is it all right if I'm speaking in English?
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, the issues are multifold. For instance, sir, in terms of disaster management, sir, there are flooding issues. For instance, in Bihar, sir, the Kosi is infamous for causing flooding.
I'm asking about the negative consequences of Himalaya.
Yes, sir. Sir, because sir, the river is originating from Himalaya.
Kosi put havoc in Bihar.
Sorry, sir.
Kosi put havoc in
Yes,
the जो उसके किनारे कटते हैं वो बिहार में कटते हैं. उसको
Yes, sir.
हिमालय से क्या लेना देना?
Yes, sir. Sir, other negative issues are in terms of earthquakes. So it is very prone to earthquakes. It is very seismically active zone. Sir, there is also issue of landslide which happens in that region. So that is few of the.
Only two.
Yes, I can think of more. So the terrain of Himalaya is difficult. So, sir, the developmental activities around Himalaya becomes challenging. For instance, sir, in northeast region, sir, in Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, etc. There are very remote villages where providing last mile connectivity is becoming difficult because of the terrain, sir.
You are mechanical engineer.
Yes, sir.
कश्मीर में रेलवे लाइनें बिछाना इतना मुश्किल क्यों है? आप कल को वहाँ पे जाते हो, रीजन में हो,
Yes, sir.
इतना मुश्किल क्यों है? मुझे मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर के पर्सपेक्टिव से जवाब देना।
Sir, largely, sir, Kashmir is a mountainous region, so sir, that requires cutting mountains, and sir, which requires very large machinery, and sir, that machinery often is very expensive, and we often lack technology for that.
I want to connect my one of the most important reason, which is always face the terrorism.
Yes, sir.
If I will increase my people to people connectivity, we will get a large opportunity to get the POK inside, because लोग वहाँ पे मेमोरेंडम करेंगे कि हमें इंडिया के साथ जाना है।
Yes, sir.
बात हो रही है।
Yes, sir.
तो इट इज़ नॉट अबाउट द कॉस्ट, हम तो सिक्योरिटी मुझसे ज़्यादा कॉस्ट दे रहे हैं। मुझे मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर का जवाब चाहिए।
Yes, sir. So I was telling about the technological difficulties from the standpoint of mechanical engineering, sir, because various machines are made by mechanical engineers, and sir, we need to ensure that such machineries are capable of dealing with hard materials, especially the stones, because they have to crush the stones. Also, sir, even sir, we need to ensure that, for example, there are no disasters in such areas. So, sir, we have to build roofs. For instance, if we are building a tunnel, we have to ensure that roofs do not collapse. So, for that, we
आपने अपनी मैकेनिकल में स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ मटेरियल पढ़ा है?
Yes, sir.
आप उसको यहाँ अप्लाई कैसे कर सकते हो?
Yes, sir. Sir, so we need to ensure that the material that we are using is of an adequate strength.
It is only related to the material only? Soil is material or not?
Yes, sir. Soil is also material. So that is a domain largely dealt with civil engineers. Sir. I'm not very well versed with that.
आप राउंड एंड राउंड घूम रहे हो, लेकिन एक पॉइंट पे आप नहीं गए।
Sorry, sir.
चलिए सर।
अदील, मुजफ्फरपुर और सारन दोनों से आपका संबंध है।
Yes, sir.
So you know a little bit about, since your mother belonged to Saran.
Yes, sir.
So you know a little bit about the politics of Saran.
Sir, my mother migrated when she was a child. Since then, I have not been maintaining connection, so I'm not very well aware.
Okay. Saran is a place which has been the playground of
Yes, sir.
Lalu Yadav,
Yes, sir.
his wife,
Yes, sir.
his Samdhi, and the present MP from there is Rajiv Pratap Rudy,
Yes, sir. Thank you,
who
sir.
has defeated all three of them.
Thank you, sir.
So that is why I was talking about Saran. About Bihar, you've
Yes, sir.
spoken about the ancient India part, that is
Yes, sir.
Magad.
Mhm.
What about the modern India part? What is the role of Champaran in Bihar in
Yes, sir.
shaping the modern Indian history?
Yes, sir. Sir, in modern shaping modern Indian history, sir, the Champaran is very important when it comes to Gandhian politics, because Mahatma Gandhi began his politics in India largely from Champaran, sir. Sir, on the invitation of Raj Shukla, sir, he came to Champaran to lead the Champaran movement. Also, sir, apart from that, sir, the Tinkatia system against which it was launched is also very important in shaping the agrarian politics of that time. And sir, secondly, sir, revolutionary politics also became very important during that time. For instance, sir, Khudiram Bose and Prafulla Chaki threw a bomb in Muzaffarpur on Judge King Fort, sir. So, sir, that is also why it is important.
There is a stream of thought in history, particularly modern Indian history, which is called subaltern studies,
Yes, sir.
where they say that Gandhiji picked up places where already there was a strong resentment against the British,
Yes, sir.
and then developed those movements, made them his own.
Yes, sir.
So how do you, what are your thoughts about Champaran, Gandhiji, and the subaltern movement?
Yes, sir. Sir, I completely agree with that assessment. Sir, because Gandhiji's brand of politics was in favor of bringing masses to the politics. And some masses largely consisted of the subaltern groups, so the Dalits, the poor, and so the minorities. So, sir, from that perspective, sir, Gandhiji saw Champaran movement as a opportunity to bring the masses into the fold. Similarly, sir, we saw in Kheda district, the Kheda Satyagraha. Or sir, even in non-cooperation movement, we saw that Mahatma Gandhi brought sir, the minority within the fold of national movement, sir. So I do agree with this assessment, sir.
Now, regarding your studies from
Yes, sir.
mechanical engineering,
Yes, sir.
to civil services.
Yes, sir.
Why so?
Sir, I have been passionate about civil services since my early days. I did mechanical engineering largely because, sir, I was also interested in engineering. Also, sir, I needed to ensure that I had some plans in case if I did not succeed in civil services, sir. So from that point of view, sir, I chose engineering. And while I was doing engineering, I started preparing for civil services itself. And sir, here I am right now.
But one seat of
sir.
mechanical engineering is lost to the nation
Yes, sir.
because you chose to go into civil services.
Yes, sir.
How do you take it?
Sir, I think my knowledge of mechanical engineering and whatever I have learned there will greatly help me to become a better administrator, sir. So in that sense, sir, I do not think it will be a loss.
Suppose that you are DM
Yes, sir.
and there is a water scarcity in your region.
Yes,
How
sir.
can you apply your mechanical knowledge
Yes, sir.
to solve this problem?
Yes, sir. So engineering is largely a science of solving problems. And so for solving a problem, we must do the root cause analysis that we learned in mechanical engineering. So first, sir, I'll understand what is causing the water scarcity. For instance, it could be because of lower level of groundwater. It can be because of poor availability of water. For instance, because of low rainfall or any other causes. So first, I will ascertain the cause. Secondly, sir, I'll use the technological breakthroughs in this regard. For instance, sir, Israel has a very good water recycling
आपने
technology.
ग्राउंड वाटर की बात की.
Yes, sir.
कितने टाइप्स के ग्राउंड वाटर होते हैं?
Sorry, sir, I have not read about this.
तो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कैसे करोगे अगर वाटर पैकेट्स के बारे में पता ही नहीं होगा तो?
Yes, sir. Sir, I believe that I'll be trained by the time I become an administrator.
United Nations 2018, you've written in your form.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the relevance of United Nations as on today,
Yes, sir.
given the kind of geopolitical situation that we are witnessing?
Yes, sir.
So, how do you perceive the role of United Nations and its efficacy?
Yes, sir. Sir, the United Nations was established with the goal of ensuring a peaceful world. However, sir, I do agree that at present moment it has been largely unsuccessful or inadequate to ensure that in the backdrop of Russia-Ukraine war. However, sir, I believe that it is still relevant because it provides a platform where countries can come together and they can engage with each other and indulge in dialogue and diplomacy rather than going for war. Also, sir, from other point of view, when the countries that are not P5 nations, when they are involved, United Nations had been largely successful in dealing with them. For instance, sir, we have the peacekeeping missions in various countries, sir, they have been largely successful. Also, sir, in terms of sir, climate diplomacy, in terms of sir, dealing with issues such as terrorism or any other emergent such issues, I think, sir, United Nations is still very important for the global order, sir.
You think in today's world,
Yes, sir.
the Security Council needs to be enhanced in its scope and the membership?
Yes, sir. I strongly believe that there is a time to enlarge the Security Council. Also, sir, our Honorable Prime Minister also gave a call for new multilateralism, reformed multilateralism, in which, sir, there are various countries that are not adequately represented in a Security Council, especially the permanent members. For instance, sir, India being one of the largest economy, third largest economy, it has now almost surpassed China in terms of population, and also, sir, it is one of the largest democracies, so it deserves a place in Security Council. And also, sir, there are other countries that are rightly deserving to become members. So from that perspective, I believe, sir, it should be enlarged.
You have given your choices
Yes, sir.
for civil services,
Yes, sir.
with the IAS being number 1, police
Yes,
being
sir.
2, foreign service being 3,
Yes, sir.
and at 4 and 5 you have placed revenue services.
Yes, sir.
These are the top 5 choices.
Yes, sir.
What is the reason why you have taken such a choice?
Yes, sir. Sir, my choice was largely based on consultations that I did with my seniors and the people in the know-how who know which service I should go. And also, sir, based on my own personal preferences, sir. Sir, I personally believe that, sir, I would be better suited to be an IAS officer. However, sir, I also consider these services to be a great opportunity to serve the nation, sir. So, sir, I will be more than happy to serve in any of those. However, sir, if given the opportunity, sir, as I have shown in my preference, sir, I have chosen IAS as top because, sir, I believe that it provides ample opportunities and diversity of provides diversity in the job profile. Also, sir, it gives me closer connect to the people because a large portion of the job includes working, sir, on the ground. So, from that point of view, sir, I give IAS as a first preference, sir.
Last question.
Yes, sir.
You've studied Urdu during your schooling.
Yes, sir.
So who's your favorite Urdu shayer?
Sir, few of the poets that I have read about are Sir Ghalib or Faiz Ahmad Faiz. However, sir, recently I have been reading poetry of my own grandfather, sir. And sir, I have really started to like his poetry, sir. So.
Do you remember any nazm of Faiz Ahmad Faiz?
Sir, I remember few couplets. For instance, Gulo Mein Rang Bhare is one of my favorite poetry of his.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so Adil, you've been saying that you were passionate about civil services since your childhood.
Yes, ma'am.
What was your exposure to the civil services?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, while I was growing up in as a child in Muzaffarpur, ma'am, it is becoming a very congested city, and the traffic is very bad in Muzaffarpur. It has been since quite few years. Ma'am, there was an IPS officer. I'm forgetting her name. Ma'am, she brought several reforms in traffic management. She was in charge of the traffic management in the city. Now, after which the traffic congestion became very manageable in the city, and it is continuing to do so. The reforms she implemented is still implemented. So, ma'am, that gave me a impetus that being in a position as a civil servant, I can bring changes that can impact people's life meaningfully. Even small changes can bring a lot of meaning to people's life. So that was an inspiration for me, ma'am.
Good. So Adil, we talk about geopolitical situations.
Yes, ma'am.
In the modern world where technology is rampant and every country has enough technology,
Yes, ma'am.
do you think three features, location, shape and size of a country, does it make difference to the geopolitical situation? And please elaborate with example when you say something.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I do agree that these geographical aspects do shape geopolitics. For instance, ma'am, location, if we talk about location, US has been largely shielded from any repercussions of its involvement in any conflict because of its location. It is quite far from the theaters of actions. For instance, its involvement in Iraq was largely involved in Iraq or in various conflicts. However, sir, ma'am, it was largely shielded. Similarly, in case of World War II, it was also shielded. So it provided it a environment where it could grow fastly. And secondly, if we talk about shape, ma'am, if we consider India, the peninsular shape of India provides it good access to the seas, and because of which, ma'am, from historical times we have been we have had trades with several nations, and because of which we have been able to export our culture to several nations. For instance, even in Indonesia, there is a large cultural influence which continues till today. And ma'am, if we talk about the size of the country, ma'am, that is also relevant. For instance, if we talk about Russia, for instance, ma'am, because of its large size, or for instance, if we talk about USSR, it was humongous in size. So because of its large size, it became greatly unmanageable, and so that led to the breaking of USSR. And ma'am, similarly in case of if we see about USA, so because of its large size, its population density is low. However, it has very great access to resources. So ma'am, that is how because of which it has become a leading global power.
You've all talked about the positive points.
Yes, ma'am.
For all these three.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the negative points. How a particular country is negatively affected because of location, because of size, because of shape?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, talking about location, I think a very pertinent example is of India and Pakistan. Because of
India and?
Pakistan, ma'am. Because of the unfriendly nature of our neighbor, we have been dealing. We have to deal with Pakistan.
No, I'm not talking. You're talking from our perspective. I'm
Yes,
talking
ma'am.
about that country's perspective.
Ma'am, even from Pakistan's point of view, its location, which is very close to the hotbed of terrorism, if I may call it so. So because of which it is continuously embroiled in conflict.
Do you think the hotbed of terrorism was made because of its location, or it was its choice?
Ma'am, both factors are at play. Location factor is also pertinent because Afghanistan, for instance, have been embroiled in conflict which has given rise to Taliban and other
But why
extremist-
Afghanistan got embroiled into Taliban? Do you think there was some geographical location because of which it got embroiled in with Taliban? It was doing pretty well. Afghanistan was doing agriculturally, it was doing very well.
Ma'am, geographical location, ma'am, I'll have to read more about.
Yes, it's a landlocked country.
Yes, ma'am. That
Okay,
is.
it needs access somewhere,
Yes, ma'am.
and it's completely placed over India and very close to China.
Yes, ma'am.
Both the superpowers want control of that area from where they can be nearest to India as well as China.
Yes, ma'am.
So they utilized that situation. That was the location.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, shape.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Shape also impacts negatively. Ma'am, if I can think of, ma'am, if I can think of Chile, it is its shape is it is a very oblong-shaped
Elongated,
country,
yeah,
elongated
elongated
shaped
shape,
country,
yeah.
and ma'am, because of which it is largely located in the desert region, and ma'am, which has reduced its potential in terms of agriculture or other economic activities, ma'am. So this is one example I can think of.
Size.
And
You
ma'am-
said generally the positive side of size.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the negative side.
Ma'am, as I gave example of Russia or USSR, so the breakup of USSR was largely precipitated by its very large size, because it became impossible to manage such diversity and in terms of economic, political, and various other aspects. So I believe that the size of the country was played a very important role in its breakup.
Okay. So regarding sociology, and
Yes,
you
ma'am.
gave example about urban area, Muzaffarpur, that the traffic was very bad.
Yes, ma'am.
How would you define urbanism?
Ma'am, very famous sociologist Levi-Strauss defined urbanism as a way of life. So he viewed urbanism not in terms of urban habitation, but also in terms of the cultural as well as the attributional aspects that a person acquires by living in urban spaces. For instance, ma'am, there is increased individuality in urban spaces. There is decreased face-to-face and formal. The interactions between people are more formal in urban spaces. So, ma'am, I see urbanism in similar vein, not just in terms of habitation, but also in terms of the culture and the attributes people.
So it's a qualitative term.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we can begin the answer saying that urbanism is a qualitative term,
Okay.
whereas when we define urban, it's a quantitative term.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Easy question now on armed forces.
Yes, sir.
As you're aware, the nuclear submarine has got a great advantage, right?
Sorry, sir. I did not.
So,
hear.
what are the advantages of nuclear submarine, and where does India stand in this regard?
Sir, the advantages of nuclear submarine is in terms of So the diesel submarine has to come every once in a while above the water to get air, because the combustion in a diesel submarine requires air. However, if we are running that submarine on nuclear power, so we do not need to bring the submarine on the surface very frequently, and because of which it gives a great advantage in terms of reconnaissance, and also gives a greater stealth capability to the submarine, which is its important aspect of a submarine. And as far as India's position is concerned, we do have nuclear powered submarine, but I cannot recall the name of the submarine as of now.
Okay, how many of them we have got?
So I'll have to read about it.
Okay, and you mentioned, what about electrical submarine which are run on electric power?
So that too also requires a battery, and which needs to be charged frequently.
Okay.
Sir, as far as I read, that nuclear submarines are capable of being underwater for years. If it was not for filling it for the resources that are required to sustain human life, for instance, food and other such things, it could stay underwater for years on end. However, sir, that is not the case with a battery.
Good. For information, we have 2 of them at the moment.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Okay. There was something in the news about this high altitude balloon.
Yes, sir.
What do you know about it? Can you just explain?
Yes, sir. Sir, the US had to shoot down a spy balloon, as it called it, which came from the China and which transgressed in the American airspace. Sir.
In your idea, how big was that balloon?
Sir, I saw a video where it compared it with the size of buses, and it said it was around 3 buses long, but it was around 2 or 3 buses long, the diameter of the balloon. But
something similar was also found in Andaman Nicobar Island a year back.
yes, sir.
Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir, I did read about it.
What was its purpose?
Sir, I'm not sure if its purpose was clear, but seeing the case of a spy balloon in US, I believe that its purpose was similar.
Why is Andaman Nicobar very important?
Sir, Andaman and Nicobar is important from India's point of view to counter the China's string of pearls strategy, and it gives greater control over the sea lines of communication that passes through that area. Also, sir, it gives us a greater control to the Malacca Strait, and sir, which imposes a serious threat to China in case of if there is any conflict. India can impose very handicapping restrictions on Malacca Strait. So that is an important aspect.
Okay, good.
Thank you, sir.
Coming out to some financial question, in recent years, in recent times, you must have heard about the collapse of 3 major banks in the world.
Yes, sir.
Which are there, and what happened? What was the main reason? Just in very briefly tell me.
Yes, sir. Sir, the 3 banks are the Silicon Valley Bank, the Signature Bank, and sir, the Credit Suisse from Switzerland, sir.
Okay.
And sir, the reason
you can tell reason for only the Silicon Valley Bank.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
So the Silicon Valley Bank is situated in the Silicon Valley, and
The reason for its collapse.
Yes, sir. So what happened is that because there was a funding winter, the Silicon Valley companies were not able to get funding. So they started to withdraw money from the Silicon Valley. So that was one issue. Secondly, sir, the Silicon Valley had bought bonds from the US government when the interest rate was effectively 0 during the COVID period. However, sir, recently we have seen that the interest rate in US has increased by 450 basis points. So that has led to decline in the cost of the price of those bonds, and because of which the Silicon Valley faced losses when it wanted to sell those bonds to procure capitals.
Okay, good. Tell me another thing about the nation in the recent times. Something similar to abrogation of Article 377 was in the news. What is it about? You know about it? This Article 377 was quashed in a couple of years back.
Yes, sir. I'm aware of it. Sir, are you talking in the context of some other country?
No, in India. Article 377 is of India only.
Yes, sir. I'm aware. Sorry, sir. I could not get your question clearly. Can you?
Okay, see, this Article 377 was removed in 2018,
Yes, sir.
where the homosexuality was not a criminal offence.
Right, sir.
But now again something similar to that is in the news. What is it?
Yes, sir. Sir, the case is in the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court is deciding whether to allow gay marriages or not, homosexual marriages or not.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what is the government stand on that?
So the government has told the Supreme Court that this decision is of profound importance. So it has said that it should be the Parliament which should be the deciding authority on this matter and not the Supreme Court, because it has large scale social and cultural repercussions. So that is what I know.
Okay, good.
Thank you, sir.
ओके अदील, बातचीत करके आपसे अच्छा लगा.
Thank you, sir.
आपका फीडबैक. तो अदिल, आपका इंटरव्यू काफ़ी अच्छा रहा,
Thank you,
लंबा
sir.
भी रहा. कुछ पॉइंट्स हैं हमारे बेसिक,
Yes, sir.
और वो है कि आपने डाइवर्स नॉलेज को काफ़ी अच्छे से एक्वायर किया, सब कुछ
Thank you,
ठीक है. थोड़ा सा स्पीकिंग में आप का बहुत ज़्यादा यूज़ कर रहे हैं,
Okay, sir.
फंबलनेस दिखाई पड़ रही है.
हम्म,
जो मेरा एक ओपिनियन है, आप बहुत लॉन्ग आंसर की तरफ जा रहे हो.
ठीक है.
मतलब जैसे आपसे कुछ भी पूछा जा रहा है,
हम्म।
जैसे तो आपने पहले बताया कि मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग ये करती है, वो हमारा क्वेश्चन नहीं है.
ठीक है.
मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग क्या करती है, सर ने क्वेश्चन पूछा तो आप उसका डिफिनीशन देने लगे.
ठीक
आपको टू द पॉइंट रहना है, जो क्वेश्चन पूछा जा रहा है वो करिए. मेरे हिसाब से जो आपका डोमेन नॉलेज है मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग, वो थोड़ा सा वीक है, क्योंकि आपने बहुत, आपके ही जवाब से मैंने क्वेश्चन लिया. आपने कहा कि चूँकि मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर होने के बावजूद मैं बहुत कुछ कर सकता हूँ कंट्री के लिए,
Yes, sir.
और आपको बेसिक फंडामेंटल अगर उसके नहीं पता है,
Yes, sir.
सो फिर वो एक शो करता है कि दैट इज़ एक आपने केवल एक चीज़ों को बता दिया है. कुछ और पॉइंट्स हैं आप लोग प्लीज़.
दूसरा बस थोड़ा सा बॉडी लैंग्वेज, हैंड मूवमेंट्स आपके पहले शुरू में बहुत देर तक हाथ ऐसे टैप आप करते थे,
Yes,
ठीक है. दूसरा अभी भी जैसे हुआ, पहले भी हुआ कि आप आते से यू ट्राई कि मैं तो बैठूँ का ही.
Okay.
ओके, यू हैव टू कीप स्टैंडिंग एंड वेट.
ठीक है.
Neither ask, can I sit down? Okay, the panel will be, courteous enough to ask you to.
Thank you.
Baki, it was good, very wide knowledge, well defended answers. It was good.
Yeah, as mentioned, you have a very good knowledge. Good, that's very nice. What I observed was initially you were answering questions very fast rate. Be little slow, need not rush and answer the questions, because you are likely to then make some mistakes.
Yes, sir.
Second, my observation was when you asked why do you want to join the civil service or something, the second part you answered correctly, but the first one you said because of advice by seniors or something.
Yes.
Now you have grown up, you have to have your own conviction. You have to take advice from seniors, listen to everybody, but then still you have to have your own conviction.
Yes, sir.
So say that yes, you want to join because of A, B, C, D, whatever you want to say,
Okay.
but not because as advised by seniors. That's
Thank
it.
you, sir.
The thing that impressed me the most was that you could take questions from diverse fields.
Thank you, sir.
From Magadh to Champaran to mechanical engineering to nuclear submarines. I mean, we threw questions at you and you were able to take it.
Thank you,
That's a very good trait. Please keep yourself updated with the latest situation in the world. And I believe that you have a very good chance.
Thank you, sir.
Very happy with you. Good luck.
थैंक यू सो मच एंड ऑल द बेस्ट.
Thank
All
you,
the
sir.
best.
Thank you,
Best
sir.
of luck.
Thank you, sir.
हाय, क्या आप भी आईएएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं? क्या आप पीसीएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं? बहुत दिनों से आप स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इसके बावजूद भी आपको सफलता नहीं मिली. भागदौड़ करने के बावजूद भी आपको कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं मिल रहा. सिर्फ आपका टेंशन बढ़ रहा है, आपका पेशेंस जवाब दे रहा है. इसी टेंशन को दूर करने और आपकी हर एक समस्या का समाधान लेकर आए हम, यानी ओजांक गुरुकुल कैंपस. यहाँ हम आपको सिखाएंगे आईएएस और पीसीएस जैसे एग्जाम की तैयारी कैसे आसान तरीके से की जाती है, कैसे डिसिप्लिन फॉलो किया जाता है, कैसे अनुशासन रखा जाता है. अगर आप भी चाहते हैं हम आईएएस और पीसीएस बने और अपनी जिंदगी के सारे सपने पूरे करें, तो अभी ज्वाइन करें ओजांक गुरुकुल कैंपस. बिकॉज when we support the word selfless, the whole universe will support you endlessly.